What's up, Stat Family? Told you we was coming back with another. We got Larry Bird, baddest man to ever shoot a basketball. Final part 3. This is a live reaction. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and comment below. Let's get it. Y'all know we live and legendary. I've been waiting. How we gonna act, Big Bird?
You simply can't pick LeBron over Larry Bird because you can pick almost no one in NBA history over Larry Bird because he was a marksman of the highest order. When it was money time, you knew where the ball was going, and you also knew there was little to nothing that you could do about it. It was just a matter of whether or not Larry Bird was going to make it or miss it. It was not a matter of what he was going to put himself in position to do or what he was going to be capable of doing, because he was that big time. He was Larry Bird. I can't deny that.
We take a quick look at those stats, the age 30 stats between Larry Bird, LeBron James. Larry Bird got him by 3 points in overall average scoring. 3 rebounds a game he's got him by, which is pretty significant. Got him slightly in assists, which surprised me.
He's not in Bird's league when it comes to passing the basketball.
And you got field goal percentage is substantial, 52.3 to 48.8. And then finally, that was another year. Larry Bird at 91% led the league in free throw percentage.
When you look at the stats, what you also have to consider, Skip, is that Larry Bird deserves even more credit when you look at those numbers, because the game was played considerably tougher then. It was more physical. You can get up in people. You know, you had the bad boys and everybody else still in the game and being very, very relevant. We all know the game of professional basketball in the NBA is called soft as putty right now. You pass gas, you'll get called for a foul.
Yeah.
You touch somebody's fingernails, you might get ejected.
I agree.
I mean, this is unbelievable. So the fact that back then, it being so tougher, and Larry Bird having the quality of teammates that he had, and McHale and Dennis Johnson and others, to sit there and put up those kind of numbers is another testament to his greatness, because he was playing in a time where they did not mind sharing the wealth. We know how unselfish he was about sharing the wealth.
Flick it or tap it or bounce it to a teammate without even catching it.
Bounce, Bird. Nice kick to McHale. Pretty as you ever want to see.
Pass to Bird. Behind the Bird to Bird.
And yet he was still able to register those kind of numbers. So Larry Bird deserves a whole lot of credit for that.
I agree with you. I'm guessing that right now about 80% of our viewing audience does not agree with either one of us.
Well, all that means is that they don't know anybody.
They don't know.
Because we're giving them facts. I would love to pick LeBron if he deserved it, but I don't think he deserves it over Bird, over the Larry legend that we watched, in terms of what I told you, those 45 minutes, you know, an 82-game schedule. He deserves it in that level, but in terms of clutch, money time, there's no contest. He's not even in Larry Bird's class.
Let's all just agree that Bird's better.
Bird's better.
Because it annoys LeBron fans.
As for shooting, their overall field goal percentages are remarkably similar. But as we showed earlier, LeBron does the vast majority of his damage near the rim, where Larry was able to match the field goal percentage by taking many more shots from outside.
Not to take anything away from, LeBron's physical, if not athletic ability is a gift. Larry's IQ and basketball competitiveness is, uncanny. Like Larry's ability to make tough shots.
As for the outside shooting, this isn't really close. And the only reason his three-point numbers aren't gaudier is the simple fact that hardly any threes were taken back then, much less practiced. And yet Bird still shot over 40% 5 times, including 2 50-40-90 seasons. Bird was consistently among the best free throw shooters each season, while LeBron's best year at the line was still 6 points lower than Bird's worst year. Interestingly, if you look at defensive win shares, Larry Bird actually ranks ahead of LeBron James by 1 spot. And that's because all of his basketball genius we saw on the offensive end translated to the defensive side of the ball as well. And when he was young and healthy, he made some plays that might, just might, remind you of some of the things we saw LeBron do. His quick hands allowed him to strip the ball, and in fact, he averaged the same amount of steals per game that LeBron does now. And that brings us to clutch performance. Those moments when everyone in the building knows who's getting the ball, and as that clock winds down, do you have the clutch gene to nail the shot? While we don't have the advanced stats from Bird's era, we're going to have to use anecdotal evidence to show that time and again, the Celtics went to him in the waning seconds of the game, and it was a rare occasion when he didn't come through for them.
I'm done.
At the very least, there was never ever a time when Bird was afraid to shoot the ball in those pressure situations. He would inevitably find some way to get open. Remember, they would hardly ever run a straight isolation out top and have him create off the dribble. Bird would flash open, find some sort of sliver of daylight, and get the jumper off. Again, these were moments when going to the basket wasn't preferable because the referees would definitely let the players decide these games. Foul calls were hard to come by. So it made more sense to do your best to get off a clean look from the outside. And Larry Bird was as good as anyone in this era with his knack for being in the right place at the right time, dropping in shots from all angles and degree of difficulty. LeBron's clutchiness is a bit more complicated. Criticized at times for not taking the game-winning shot, even though I will defend him on some of these for making the right basketball play, something he's always been focused on doing to his credit. However, there have been a few times where he hasn't been the man down the stretch, and it has opened him up to quite a bit of criticism for not being that clutch player. Mark Stein wrote an article on ESPN.com about this, and with the help of advanced analytics and play-by-play data, we can quantify how LeBron has shot when attempting a tying or go-ahead shot in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. As of March 1st of this year, he was a very mortal 5 for 47, or 10.6% over the past 10 seasons, whereas the league average on these shots is 22.7%. Can we even make a fair comparison of two players from completely different eras? While Bird was doing the mullet, LeBron was doing the headband. If you want to look at sheer ability to make plays while at the height of their careers, Larry definitely had more skill, while LeBron brought more physical gifts.
You can always defend Bird by saying he stuck with the team that drafted him, won with the team that drafted him, which was a bad team when they drafted him.
Well, the world was a little different then.
Stop with the excuses.
Oh, right.
Bird
No, sure, right.
I'm helping you out here.
Yeah.
Bird didn't have to assemble a super team, a dream team.
One area Larry was far superior in was his use of the left hand. There were sections of whole games where he'd only shoot with his offhand, and he had such control and touch with it, you'd never know exactly how to guard him once you got within 10 feet of the basket. I can't think of another player who used his ability to score with his offhand as often as Bird did, and even 25 years later, these are still the most impressive of his highlights, something LeBron cannot do.
Dude is a legend, man. Make no sense. Make no sense how much it was tortured in the league. Real legend. Lockdown. Big Bird. We salute you. French League.
Miller push off on Michael Jordan, going over the left shoulder for three.
4/10 of a second.
When the Pacers hit the shot, and Bird just sat there and did not move.
The whole world is going crazy. They pan the camera to Larry Bird.
He didn't even move.
Standing there like he has ice water in his veins.
So you know what I'm talking about. What is that? He's not even human. I've never seen anything like that in my life. He didn't even blink.
Talk about calm under pressure, right? And that's the way he was as a player.
He doesn't even blink. I mean, did he ever get excited? Did you ever hear him yell?
Yes, he got excited, absolutely. But we treated Larry Bird like E.F. Hutton. When he talked, people listened. He didn't say too much, but when he did, he had our attention.
He's very private, but if he's your friend, man, you got a friend for life. And Larry Bird is a straight shooter. He'll tell you when he don't like you. That's one thing I wish I could have from him, that he has that I don't have. I wish I had that.
One of my pet peeves always is when people say, oh, Michael Jordan saved the NBA. Bullshit. Bullshit. Magic and Larry saved the NBA. That's who saved the NBA. Magic and Larry.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
I asked him one time, so what would it have been like if you had stayed on the sanitation truck? He said, Pete, hopefully I would have been boss by now.
Real legend. Very family, y'all already know, real legend.